The story of the beautiful sleeping princess spread through the land. From time to time, handsome princes from far away came to the castle and tried to force their way through the thick hedge of prickly briars into the castle. But they couldn't, for the briars were thick and sharp, and none of the princes could get through. After many, many years, another prince came by. He too had heard of the beautiful sleeping princess, and of the briar hedge that kept everyone out of the castle.
I shall see the princess.
He rode to the castle and walked to the hedge. Now just then, the 100 years were coming to an end, and the day had come when the long, long sleep of the princess would be over. When the prince came to the briar hedge, it burst into blossom, and the sharp briars fell away from his touch and let him pass through. In the courtyard, he saw the horses and dogs lying asleep. On the roof, the doves sat with their heads under their wings. In the house, the flies were asleep on the walls, and the king and queen were asleep near the throne. In the kitchen was the cook, with her hand raised about to strike the maid. The prince went further into the castle. At last, he reached the tower, and found the room where the princess was asleep.
She is so beautiful. How sad that she is asleep. I shall give her a kiss.
As he kissed her, she awakened and opened her eyes.
Where am I?
You are in your castle. You've been asleep.
Asleep? Oh, yes, I remember. It feels like it must have been a long, long sleep.
She got up, and they went downstairs. The 100 years were now over, and the whole castle started to come awake. The king and the queen woke up.
Now, as I was saying...
Yes, my dear.
The courtiers got to their feet and rubbed their eyes. The horses in the stable stood up and shook themselves. The dogs leaped about and wagged their tails. And the doves on the roof lifted their heads from under their wings, looked around, and flew into the fields. The flies on the walls began to crawl again. The fire in the kitchen roused itself and blazed up and cooked the food. The meat began to crackle, and the cook boxed the maid's ears so soundly that she screamed aloud.
Ow!
The next day, the prince and the princess were married in a magnificent celebration in the castle, and they lived together happily ever after.